Welcome to Cardinal Coaches Corner. Our guest this week is Sherard Poteete, the head football coach of the Trinity Valley Community College Cardinals in his 8th season. The Cardinals are currently ranked 7th, 7-1 overall, 5-1 in conference play. They've won 5 in a row. They're coming off the 56-18 win at New Mexico Military this past weekend. They're at home Saturday, closing out the regular season against NEO, Poe's old team, at 1 p.m. at Bruce Field. We hope you'll come out and watch the game. NEO is 2-5 on the season and 2-3 in conference play. Well, Poe took care of business on the road Saturday in New Mexico. Talk about the overall performance of the team out there.
Well, it's a long ways out to New Mexico. So we talk to our guys all the time. Hey, it's going to be a long road trip. It's going to be even a longer road trip if you're coming home with a loss. So we've been very fortunate over the years to play really well out there. So it makes that drive home a lot more enjoyable, as best as it can be. But no, atmosphere was kind of, there wasn't much on our sideline when we kicked off, and Nimi took the opening kickoff and drove it down the field, and our defense kind of shut them down in the red zone and forced them to a field goal. And then our offense stepped out on the field and put a great drive together, go down, cap it off with a touchdown, and we scored 4 of our 5 opportunities in the first half, and to take a 28-3 lead there, I guess, at halftime.
Right, and with your defense, that's like money in the bank.
And so that was a great way to start it off, and that was kind of our whole deal at halftime was we have to go finish it. And we've played some really good halves this year, and we've gotten better as the season has gotten longer and longer. We've played better as the season's come along, and so that was our thing. It's like we've got to go finish this thing and don't just play a half. We didn't drive all this way for a half of football. We've got to play a complete 4 quarters, and we proceeded to go out there and continue to pack on points and finished up with 56 on the scoreboard.
Now you mentioned Nimi had some great success early on their first possession. Is that a case of where they did something that you weren't expecting, or they just executed awfully well at their first few plays? I
think they did a really good job of just executing their game plan. They ran the ball really well. They had their running back ran really, really hard. And he was a shorter, smaller, stockier kid. It was just really hard to tackle, and he did run the ball hard. And they just kind of boom, 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 and it took us that drive to kind of wake up from that long bus trip, and it kind of woke us up, and then we played really well from then on out.
We've talked a couple of times on Coach's Corner already this season how going into the season the offensive line was a big question mark for the team. And the last few weeks I feel like they're playing at a higher level with greater consistency. Talk about that group of young men and what has been the turnaround for them.
Yeah, those guys have just, as the season's kind of grown, they've grown together. That unit just continuing, and even if a guy may be down with a little injury here or there, we've been able to plug in a guy here and there, and that group, though, that unit's really grown up over the season, and we're playing our best football right now as the season's regular season's coming to an end, and that's how you want it to be. You want to be playing your best football as the playoff season is approaching, and that's what we're doing right now. And I can't say enough. We've ran the ball the last 2 weeks, the best 2 weeks of the season. It's just that's the O-line guys have just kind of continued to do their job. We've had our best 2 passing output the last couple weeks of the season, and once again, it's another credit to those guys up front.
You had 6 touchdown passes in the win. Your receiver room is just very talented, and it's made a lot of plays here. Talk about them and their playmaking ability.
Yeah, we were fortunate to play a lot of guys. I think there was 12 different guys caught a ball Saturday. 6 different players caught a touchdown pass. Right. There was 8 different players on the team scored a touchdown. So we're able to kind of distribute the ball quite a bit. Early on it was kind of like we had one receiver who was leading our team in receptions, and Jake Pivoteau, and he was getting the most receptions. And as the season's gone, it's starting to spread out a little bit more.
Correct. So, which makes you harder to defend.
And it does. And so other guys just as of late, Jermani Davis has had 2 big weeks, the last 2 weeks for us.
And had a good freshman season last year.
He did. And he was kind of a little, kind of banged up a little bit there earlier in the year, and now the healthier he's gotten, the bigger games he's put together. So we had some really good individual plays, some catches, some runs after that, making guys miss. But it's awfully nice we can have 12 different guys catch a ball, get them involved in the offense.
Correct. Well, Jackson Latour saw extensive playing time at quarterback. I think he completed 16 to 21 passes for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns. Talk about his performance, and did that catch you by surprise at all?
Well, no, that's just, Caden has been the guy that's been our starter the whole year. Kind of won that job, in the battle with Jackson early in fall camp. And Caden threw 3 touchdown passes and over 200 yards in the first half at New Mexico Military. And now it was an opportunity. So to get Jackson, hey, let's go get some meaningful game reps right here. So when the time comes, he's had those game reps. You don't want to ever throw the number 2 guy in there to be the guy now,
right.
When the game is on the line. So you want him to have some reps. So it was good that we were able to get Jackson a whole half of football played just to get that experience, that game experience. So whenever the time comes, he'll be ready to roll.
Well, sure, and that's great. If he ever has to play again and in a must-play situation, it also gives the offense confidence in him too.
Oh yeah, and he came out and he threw the ball well, pushed it vertically down the field. Jackson's arm talent's kind of out of this world, and he's got confidence in himself, and he should. And whenever he steps on the field, I don't think there was any letdown. The guys practice with him every day, so
right.
He was able to go lead us down the field and continue to put points on the board.
Well, your defense had another solid outing. I think they limited Nimi to 101 rushing yards, and they've just been consistent all season. You, as the play caller on the offensive side of the ball, how much pressure does that take off an offense when you know you've got that defense in your back pocket that if you're not successful, you can lean on them a little bit too?
Oh yeah, well, in your early days as a play caller and just as an offensive coordinator, it was score as many points as possible and put up as many yards as possible. And then as you carry those kind of play calling duties on over as the head coach, it's let's get that win. Let's just get the win.
Right.
And so we have leaned on at times. We have leaned on the defense till we knew we were going to get a stop. We knew we'd get the ball back. And there's some times maybe in the younger days of just wanting to rack up yards, we'd have kept throwing the ball and pushing down the field. And there's been times this year where we've put 10-minute drives together and just kind of milked the clock. And even at New Mexico Military, we got the ball with 6 minutes and something on the clock, and it was like we can probably milk this thing down,
right? And
just kind of boom, 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 and just run this thing out.
Well, I know you told me earlier this season, you've told your quarterbacks before, it's okay to throw a ball away and punt the ball. Punting's not a bad thing when you got a defense that can play.
It's okay to punt sometimes, and sometimes they want to compete and they want first downs and touchdowns and want to stay out there because, but it's hard sometimes to get that through and across to them. It's like, hey, it's okay to punt and it's okay to let our defense play.
Well, NEO's in a must-win situation, which makes them a dangerous team. How dangerous does that make a team like that who has some talent, by the way? They
do, and Coach Chrisup's doing a good job with those guys. Their defense is playing really well right now, and they're from the last few years. Their offense is much improved. They're scoring some points. They're doing some things. They've got a couple good receivers. They're running the ball well. Quarterback's playing well, but they're sitting there. They're trying to fight for a playoff spot, right? So that fourth, kind of a win versus us, and then a win the next week versus Kilgore for them will lock down that 4 spot for them. They take a loss to us. Now it puts a lot of pressure on them going into that last game of the season. So we're going to get NEO's best effort this Saturday because it's a playoff game.
Right. And the last question, Paul, we've already, of course, locked up a playoff berth, which is great, but you want to get that home field in 2 weeks. But what I wanted to ask you about was, how advantageous is it going to be for you going into the playoffs to have next week open, the last week of the regular season, to get ready for the playoffs?
Oh, at the beginning of the season, look at the schedule. As long as you make the playoffs that open week right before playoffs, it's a great idea. And I think it's coming at a really good time. Just late in the year, football season's a contact sport. The guys are beat up and banged up, which every team is at this point in the year. And so having that open week going into the playoff season is coming at a really good time for us.
Well, Poe, thanks for stopping by. I wish you and the Cardinals the best of luck Saturday. Again, game time at Bruce Fields at 1 o'clock against NEO. And by the way, the last time folks will see NEO in here for a while probably. Yeah,
NEO is moving on to the Jayhawk Conference up in Kansas starting in the fall of 2026. So this could be the last time that the old Cardinals and Norsemen get together for a while.
Could be. Folks, thanks for looking in this week, and we will see you next week on Cardinal Coach's Corner. Go Cardinals.